Oh, here we go. It looks like my friend from Holland here. Let's see if we can get you on here. Peter, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Hi, Peter. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, well, my blood's boiling over Colin Kaepernick and his disrespect to the American flag during football games.
I got that.
Well, I hope a few other people get it as well. I just think that kind of stuff just angers me, because you know what? The attention is in the wrong place. And yet we celebritize guys like this. I just want to scream, but I think I've already done that. So what's on your mind?
I think that's more an American issue than anything else, because if you were to sit down during the national anthem in Holland, nobody's going to worry. So it's not a big deal here.
Well, it's a big deal here, mainly because, so many people died for what that flag represents and what America
We've got that here, but that's nothing. You should.
Well, I'm an American, and I will
lean on. I think.
Well, I'm an American, and I will. I think it's something that, it pays honor to those that went before us. It's remembering where we came from, and came out from, and for the freedom that we enjoy, and for him to do what he's doing.
I think it's better if you relate the flag to the people that are here now and how they are treated.
But but did you hear my earlier part of what the flag was supposed to represent?
Yeah.
That's the foundation.
I just happen to disagree. That's all, because.
Well, you can disagree, but the point is that's what it represents. And if we forget our past, we'll never know anything really about where we're at today or where we're going. It's just going to be one haphazard, whatever. It's the flag today. Tomorrow it'll be the Constitution. And in fact, we got plenty of people here that are trying to undermine that as well. And once you throw that out, you have no law. And then you've got anarchy. Then where is the Colin Kaepernicks going to be? Are they going to be out there sitting on their butt then saying, oh, well, there's nobody representing all the people justly? And so, well, it's because there's no justice. There's no basis for it.
Well, I can have my meaning about that, but I think it's worthless because I'm Dutch.
Well, I know,
I can say what I want. It wouldn't matter anyway.
Well, that's probably true, but that's because you're in Holland and I'm here, and this is Friday Free for All, and this would just happen to be the first thing on the docket because nobody called in. So, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind? I've been following you on Twitter.
Oh yeah, we had a nice long back and forth yesterday, didn't we?
And after that, you had another discussion.
Oh yeah, matter of fact, I had one this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was reading up on that. I'm not. I haven't caught up completely yet, but
well, you probably won't be able to either. Because he decided he wanted to. Well, he wanted to gauge. He turned around and I started asking him questions about objectivity, and then he started to get into these ad hominem attacks. And I'm going, hey, I've asked you 15 times. What is the object for your evaluation of what anything I've got to say? And he won't answer the question. And I'm going, okay, well, what is the point of me just throwing out stuff if you're just going to brush it aside and you're not going to tell me why? And so I thought, okay, boink, bounced him. In fact, I think he came back as a counterfeit on 2 separate other Twitter accounts, and I bounced them too. I'm sorry, not going to play that game. I've got better things to do.
There's more than one account, but I had a question. I followed the whole thing. Mm-hmm. As far as I'm now, I'm not quite done yet. But
by the way, let me let everybody know again. This is the Friday Free for All. If you want to call in, you can.
What I'm actually curious about is a question he asked, and I couldn't find you answering that question.
Yeah.
and I'd like to twist it a little around because it's kind of my question too.
Yeah.
With science as we have it today, what always has puzzled me that some Christians, a very small part of Christians, not all of them, deny parts of science. And I've never come across a good reason to find out why they deny certain parts and accept other parts. Is there kind of a rule you apply?
What science have I denied? What parts?
Well, I know you deny.
Let me preface that one first. First of all, before you answer that question, let me ask this one as well along the lines of science. Science according to who? I've always keep asking that question, and I still haven't really got a legitimate answer from those, such as yourself and the guy online. Yeah, science according.
You tell me what do you think science as we have it today is based on?
So science according to who?
You tell me.
Well, I can't tell you because you're the one that's advocating the scientific position, and I'm saying science. Whose science are we talking about?
Okay. What do you consider science?
Science according to who? Do you want the Christian view or do you want the secular view? If it's the secular view, then you're going to have to answer that question.
You can tell me what you think.
I mean,
science
to me,
so that's not a problem.
Science to me is just simply observing what's going on in the physical world and then interpreting the data according to a certain standard in order to make sure that it comports with what is real.
Okay. I would say that for me that's exactly the same.
Okay, so then what parts am I denying?
Well, I know you deny the theory of evolution.
Yes, because that's not science. That's theory.
Why is it not science?
Because that's theory.
What's a theory?
That's an assumption about reality. It's not that it is absolutely true. It's just merely an assumption.
So you don't know what a theory is. It's not that big of a problem. You can look it up.
It's not an absolute fact.
The definition you gave right now is not a scientific theory. That is another definition of theory and has nothing to do with science.
Theorizing has nothing to do with science?
No.
Hypotheses have nothing to do with science?
I'll specify my question. What's a scientific theory? What's the definition of a scientific theory?
One that is, once again, predicated upon observation, and you're hypothesizing that such and such is going to be true at the end of the day, when all of your experiments are done. Pardon me?
You don't know it.
What do you mean I don't know it?
You're giving the wrong definition. So
well, a wrong definition according to who?
The universally accepted definition
by who?
Scientific theory.
Who universally accepts it?
You were good on looking stuff up.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at theory. Mental viewing, contemplation, speculative idea or plan as to how something might be done. Number 3, a systematic statement of principles involved, the theory of equations in mathematics. Number 4, a formula or a formulation of apparent relationships or underlying principles of certain observed phenomena.
You can read on, but you're looking at the wrong thing.
I'm looking at theory.
What's a scientific theory? 2 words. Scientific theory.
Number 1, science according to who? I've got the theory part down here. We can take a look at science too if you would like. What is the point of this, Peter? What is the point of this?
What I wanted to ask you if you know the definition of scientific theory.
Yes.
And you gave the wrong definition.
I gave you science and you agreed with me, and I'm giving you theory and you're agreeing with this too. So what exactly?
But I didn't ask you for theory. I asked you for scientific theory.
Science according to who? You still haven't told me who.
Oh, I don't have to. I asked you, your science.
I did give it to you here a second ago. I gave you the Christian view. Actually, what I gave you here a second ago.
Let me
Peter,
enlighten you because I've got it in front of me.
Peter.
A scientific theory is a well-substantiated explanation of some aspect of the natural world that is acquired through the scientific method and repeatedly tested and confirmed, preferably using a written predefined protocol of observation and experiments. Scientific theories are the most reliable, rigorous, and comprehensive form of scientific knowledge.
Okay,
and
so
there's
so what have I denied?
But I think if we get this, then we get at least the gist of what a scientific theory is. It's an explanation of facts, of laws, and of findings, observations. That makes a scientific theory.
A theory is not a fact, though.
It's not an idea someone came up with.
But a theory
in science,
is. But a
an
theory,
idea where you come up with,
Peter,
is called a hypothesis. And a hypothesis is just an idea.
But Peter,
then you do your research.
A theory is not a fact.
Gather facts.
A theory is not a fact.
If everything you find is good, then you can move it on to a theory.
But Peter, a theory is not a fact.
A theory isn't a fact. I just told you.
That's right. A theory is not a fact.
A theory is not what we're talking about. We're talking about scientific
You gave me a definition of scientific theory.
Which is completely different from the normal word theory that we use all day.
How is it different?
I just told you. It's a well-substantiated explanation.
It's an explanation.
But it's that is acquired through the scientific method and repeatedly tested, confirmed, and preferably using a written, predefined protocol of observations and experiments.
But
scientific
it is still
are the most reliable, rigorous, and comprehensive.
Peter, if you're not going to listen to me, then I can't listen to you. This is kind of what I have established before. This is a two-way street here. Just because it's a well-established whatever in your definition there still makes it nothing more than a theory. It is not an absolute fact. It's a big difference there. So I'm still wanting to know, what exactly have I rejected or denied or whatever when it comes to science or scientific theory or theory itself? What exactly have I rejected?
Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So the theory of gravity you accept.
Okay, so?
That's just a theory, according to you.
Who says gravity's not a theory, it's a fact? We can't observe it, though.
No. Gravity is a theory. Go look it up.
Okay, so I'm still trying to figure out what exactly is the point of your question.
The point of my question is, when is a scientific theory acceptable? And is it, in your eyes, is it science? And when is it not? Because
when is theory...
in science, there's only one thing, and that's a scientific theory. And when you accept one and you deny the other, I'd like to know what mechanism you use to differentiate both theories from each other. Because they're both working in exactly the same way.
What is working exactly in the same way?
Both theories are built using exactly the same tools.
What two theories? You're talking scientific theory and what other theory?
As I said, the two examples, the theory of gravity and the theory of evolution. Both work exactly the same way.
No, they don't.
Using
no,
exactly
they don't.
the same tools.
No, they don't.
Okay, so what's the difference?
We can take a look at gravity. We know it works. Just take a rock and drop it from wherever. It will always hit the ground. That's observable. We can repeat that over and over and over in or out of the laboratory, and we know it works. We don't know any such thing when it comes to evolution.
Sure we do.
then take it back to the beginning. See, this is the problem. And what I've talked about before when it comes to evolution, I mean, if we want to test gravity, we can go back to the beginning and do our experiment there. But we can't do that with evolution.
Speciation.
Pardon me?
We have observed speciation.
You've observed one species becoming another one.
Yes.
What species have you observed?
Google the
No, you
fox
tell
experiment.
me. Don't tell me to do your work. You tell me. What species
I'm
has
telling you, but
what species has gone from one thing to something that's
from a
completely
fox to
different?
a dog.
Pardon me?
We have observed that in our lifetime, going from a fox to a dog.
Those are of common origin.
No,
I'm
those
talking.
are
Have
two
you ever
completely
seen? Have you
different species?
have you ever
You
seen?
can't crossbreed.
Peter, listen to me. Have you ever seen a? Well, let's see. We say we're coming up out of the swamps or whatever. The depending on what theory of evolution you're talking about. When's the last time you ever saw a frog become a human being?
That's a non sequitur because that doesn't happen in the theory of
Why
evolution.
doesn't it happen if we're talking about evolution? Isn't that where we originated from?
The theory of evolution doesn't claim that is what happened.
What do you
So
mean it does? You're talking about
throwing in a straw
speciation.
man now. That doesn't work because it's not. There's no such claim. So sure, it didn't happen.
Okay, so when's the last time you ever saw a monkey become a man?
Again, that's not what is claimed, is it?
Well, that's what I've read
Sure, it's
more
what
often than
creationists-
not.
it's what creationists
Through this line of changes. Sometimes it will be punctuated equilibrium, or it'll be over a long period of time, or whatever. We've gone from this lower supposed species to a higher one.
Has to do with all this.
Pardon me?
I have no idea what punctuated equilibrium has to do with all this.
Well, if you go read Mr. Gould, you'll find out.
Another straw man.
No, it's not a straw man. I'm saying this is a person who believes in evolution as well, but he doesn't know how it happened. Because he says, you know what, there isn't enough time for the speciation to take place. So, and plus we don't have those overlaps.
You're twisting the argument, Paul.
Pardon
You're
me?
twisting the argument.
I am not twisting anything. I'm telling you,
if it was up.
Peter, I'm telling you that here is an evolutionist who has got his own theory about how it happens, but he doesn't know. So he has interjected this. So this is why I keep asking, especially when this whole argument about science comes up. Science according to who? Whose evolutionary theory are we talking about? A lot of evolutionists today don't even agree with Darwin. So who are we talking about here? And why should anybody hold their opinions about origins or evolution or whatever any more credible than those that preceded them?
Opinions don't matter at all.
Why not?
I'm not going to say that. It's your show, and I'm going to be civil. So no unpleasant words.
Well, I asked you a question. It's a civil thing. To do would be just simply answer. Why don't opinions matter?
Because opinions are baseless. You have to demonstrate.
Didn't Darwin demonstrate?
It's not just an opinion, but is a fact.
Did not Darwin demonstrate?
Darwin demonstrated it wasn't an opinion.
Well, then why do you have evolutionists today that disagree with him?
And I still don't see what Darwin has to do with it. He discovered he didn't even discover evolution.
One of the earliest propagators of evolution.
Evolution was discovered by Christian and Darwin.
Oh, well, no.
Oh yes.
No, it wasn't discovered by a Christian.
I don't
get us in
saying.
on the air. Okay, I appreciate all the credit and stuff like that, but that's one that we will not share with. Darwin was one of the earlier propagators of evolution. He actually borrowed it from somebody else, but it became famous with him. And yet you've got evolutionists today like Stephen Jay Gould who rejects Darwin.
It didn't become famous. Darwin actually showed.
And yet you've got evolutionists today that reject that. Why?
What did you say?
I said you've got evolutionists today that reject what Darwin had to say. They've got their own theory of evolution.
Darwin said have been rejected over time.
Yes, why?
Because we've got more evidence and we've got better stuff. But I want to go back to the example.
They got their better opinions.
I want to go back to the example I gave you. We have observed a fox going into another species, becoming a dog.
Have you ever seen a fox do that with a cat?
Is that what I proposed, or is this just another straw man?
I'm just asking you a question. Have you ever seen a fox with a cat?
I'm asking you a question. Do you know about the experiment, the silver fox experiment, where foxes...
To me, that is irrelevant because, once again, they're of the same species.
No.
Canines.
No, that's not species. That's family.
Okay, family
so
then. The point is, have you ever seen that happen with a cat?
You have never studied evolution in any way?
I am a theologian and an apologist. I don't get into those intricate details. All I can tell...
so if you make a mistake...
Peter, don't go there. You know what? There is no human being alive, including you, that has enough time to study all of the disciplines that have ever been created in human history. But I can tell you, by just asking a few simple questions, that oftentimes the atheist doesn't want to answer. That when it comes to propagating these theories of evolution and whatever, and they can't answer the question or they dodge the question, I can tell you it's false right up front.
The one who's dodging here is you.
Yeah, I'm not dodging anything. I am not dodging anything. I asked you a question.
To get away from that.
I asked you a question. Have you ever seen a fox do this with a cat?
I ask you a question.
Are cats and canines the same species?
According to you, did Noah have foxes and dogs on the ark?
Now we're dodging that question. Have you ever seen this happen with an elephant?
No.
Why not?
I'm sticking to my original claim.
Which is what?
A fox and a dog.
Well, the original...
Are they the same kind?
The original claim or the insinuation is that I'm supposedly rejecting some kind of science, and I'm not.
We don't want to talk about this. Don't want to talk about this.
That's right. I don't want to talk about something that is irrelevant.
Yes, because
it does not apply to me.
I can prove you wrong.
You can't prove me wrong because there's no such thing as wrong in an atheist worldview. We've already established that before.
Well, I can prove you wrong in your
You can't.
Sure.
You can't. Because then you're... Peter, that would mean that you're trying to... it would mean that you're undermining your worldview, which says there's no absolutes. You would be proving me wrong. There's no possibility of that if you don't believe there are any absolutes.
I'll stick to my question. Are a dog and a fox the same kind? According to the Bible.
The Bible doesn't talk about canines in the Bible.
Bible defines kinds.
It says kinds, but it doesn't talk about fox and dogs and all that kind of stuff. Except maybe in a pejorative sense, and don't be like the dogs.
Yeah, what's a kind?
That which is of the same species, I'm assuming.
No. I'm asking not what you're assuming. I'm asking you to tell me what the Bible said a kind is.
After their kind.
Okay, so if they can't reproduce, they're not the same kind. Is that correct?
Pardon me?
If two animals can't reproduce, they're not the same kind. Is that correct?
If two animals can't reproduce, they're not of the same kind. Yeah. No.
So a cat and a dog can reproduce?
They reproduce all the time, don't they? We've got too many of them around here.
Have you ever seen a cat and a dog produce an animal?
No. Have you?
Okay, so a cat and a dog are different kinds.
They're different species.
But are they different kinds?
They're different species.
what I'm asking, I'm not asking about species because that's not in the Bible. The Bible defines kinds. And the Bible defines kinds as...
Again, what is the point of your questioning?
If they cannot...
Peter, what is the point of your question?
The point of my question is asking you if you agree with what the Bible says a kind is.
After their own species, yes. Humans are not animals.
No.
Yes. Peter, because it talks about kinds along the lines of birds and animals and creatures and stuff like that. They walk around on the ground. Insects are not animals. Humans are not animals. That's how the Bible defines kinds.
What is a kind?
I just told you.
So a dog and a cat are different kinds?
They're animals. They're four-footed species that walk around on the face of the earth.
That's not what I asked. Please ask.
Dogs and cats are not the same kind in the sense that they are not the same species. They are kinds in the sense that they are animals walking around on the face of the earth.
Okay. The word species isn't in the Bible, so
I don't care if it's not in there. I'm trying to answer your question, and I still don't know what the point of it is.
Is a fox and a dog the same
are of the
kind?
same species, yes. And they are of the kind animal. There are all kinds of different species of animals, but they're all animals. Animals is the kind.
Are they the same kind?
Animals is the kind.
Are they the same kind?
Peter, I'm going to let you go.
Can a female...
Goodbye, Peter.